Gorgeous. I'm in the glades. I'm gonna suck at this.
Yeah, we love to hang out here.
Oh, cool.
So I got some different treats for them this time. Because I think these are a little bit healthier for them. There's not as much like sugar in them.
This is the birds again?
Yeah.
Oh, right on.
So the thing is, sometimes they won't be here when you first get here, but then they'll see you ski in, and they'll be like, oh man, time to eat. Let's see. Usually doesn't take too long for them to show up. Maybe they're not awake yet. Maybe they're sleeping in like you like to, Steven.
Hey, come down.
You see one?
No.
No?
Come down.
Here, let's do this. Here, let me see that. Let's do some more skiing. We'll leave some out for them. And then when we come back, they'll definitely be here. Cool.
Hey!
Oh, there's something moving up there. Alright, so. Yeah. So yeah, Steven, it's like I was saying, dude, that already looked way better, right? Just practicing that for a little bit, the arms weren't swinging as much, right? And you're turning with your legs, that's what we're looking for. So here, I'll leave those there for them. And we'll come back and get them. And then I'm thinking, if you want, we can do like hotcakes. Yeah?
Is that like this?
Sorta. It's like a sort of a tree run. It goes back down to Morningside.
Okay.
And that's kind of a great way to get across the mountain too, because you can kind of cut that way. Like the whole mountain's like a big horseshoe. Hot cakes, like pancakes, you know. There we go. Let's hit it.
Sorry.
Oh, you can't tell me?
Yeah, baby. Steamboat.